upgrade this Haiboxing 2995 that I got on Amazon for my son. This is the second one that we've had. The first one that we got just had a few problems straight out of the box, and the ESC accidentally, I assume accidentally, got overloaded somehow and actually melted. So they sent me another one, and I went ahead and upgraded one, and we run one of them stock. So this is the brushless upgrade that I've done on one of them. So what I've done, I'll try to put a parts list in the description a little bit, but I got everything on Amazon, I believe. And so let's go through it real quick. So these come with, now anyway, they didn't always, but now they come with a 550 brushed motor. It doesn't seem like anybody really knows how many turns it is or anything like that, but got a ton of torque. It's a 16-tooth pinion gear. It works really good for a stock thing. It tops out about a little over 17 miles an hour with the little 2S batteries that it comes with. Whole lot of fun as it is. So what we did is on Amazon, I got this Surpass Hobby ESC, 120 amp ESC and 3650 motor. And yeah, so it'll fit in the same space, and it's got the same bolt pattern as the 550 motor did. The spacing on those is exactly the same, so it's able to mount up in the same spot in the frame of the car and the chassis. Looks like this is the one that I got. It is a 5200 kV, and according to the manufacturer and this, looks like max voltage is supposed to be 9.6 volts. But I've read several reviews from people running this motor on motor and ESC combo on 2S, 3S, and some on 4S. Most of them said at 4S. It's just nuts though. So 2S and 3S seems to be where it's at. We're just going to run it on 2S. The ESC itself, from what I can derive from the paperwork sent with it, seems to be that it has an acceptable battery range of 5 volts to 25.5 volts, which is anywhere from a low 2S to just over 6S. Anyway, so it seems like the ESC can handle quite a bit more voltage and amperage than the motor needs. Some of the lower kV motors seem to be able to handle a lot more voltage. So, I mean, the next one down, the 4300, that's 3S. There's 4S, 6S. And so they can do a lot depending on what you get. So I like it. Been pretty happy with it so far. And it comes with a little programming card so that you can set what you want for battery cutoff, start off, braking applications, and so forth. Pretty straightforward and easy to use. We had to upgrade the receiver and everything because this is not a ESC receiver combo. So I went with Fly Sky stuff, pretty cheap, had good reviews. This is the FS GT2E, and the receiver is the FS-A3. A lot of people use them. It's a 2-channel transmitter and a 3-channel receiver, but I don't remember, it's 30 or 40 bucks, pretty easy to use. The instructions are confusing, but there's a lot of YouTube videos on how to pair them and so forth. The only thing that you can't really do with this, I've found, is that you cannot have control of like throttle response. So you can't really turn it down for little kids. Anyway, I had to watch a couple of those because I was having some pairing issues, and turns out the instructions are kind of backwards, but after that it was pretty easy. For all of this, I was pretty sure I wouldn't have some extra screws if I needed some, so I got this on Amazon, just a screw pack. It's for a lot of Traxxas stuff and 1/10 scale deals, but great things for, zoomed in, like several of these. I needed just to have longer bolts for the motor because The motor mount itself I actually drilled out so that I could adjust the position of it just a little bit where the motor mount screws in to the bolt holes. That way I can move the motor a little bit, and that would give me the ability to change the pinion gear sizes depending on how fast or slow we wanted to go. So very handy. Also on Amazon. Nothing crazy, nothing special. It's pretty cheap. To do this swap, the new motor comes with the same diameter pinion gear or pinion shaft. It's an 1/8 inch shaft. However, let me zoom in here. The slot or flat surface ground into the shaft on the new motor is different than the one that comes on this motor, so you cannot use this pinion gear with the new brushless motor or any of the other common 1/8 inch shafts. Got to get a different one. And these are special pinion gears. This is a mod 0.6 gear, meaning that the ratio of teeth on there, the common ratios are like 48 and 32, I think they are. And you know, for the number of teeth for the size of the gear, these are a little bit different. Those are mod 1s. These are mod 0.6s, so it's a 42 count, or it's a, gosh, I forgot what the name of it is, but it's a 16 tooth gear, and the ratio is it's a 42 instead of 48 or 32. So it's a weird one, but you get on Amazon, look up mod 0.6 gears for 16 tooth, and you can get Robinson Racing stuff. Let me actually zoom in here. Robinson Racing, and I don't, yeah, there's the point number or part number right there. 16 tooth 0.6 mod. It's a stainless steel gear. It's got a little worm set screw. It's fantastic. This one was a little slow getting here, so I ordered a few. You can also through Hobby Park, also on Amazon, you can get some 0.6. See, it doesn't really say too much on here, but that's the part number stuff. But these are all mod 0.6 gears as well. More common for the Redcat racing stuff. You can get 17, 19, 21, and like 27 tooth gears or something like that. So if you want to go fast, this is the stuff that you'll use. We currently have a Robinson Racing 15 tooth gear in there because I got here first. I haven't put these shocks on there, but they're oil or will be oil filled shocks. I haven't filled them all yet. I did one, and it needs a weight heavier than a 30 weight oil, so they'll go on at some point. Anyway, to the truck itself, let me back out a little bit more here. So taking that off, and here's what we ended up with. So what I had to do is take a cutting instrument and cut a slot here in the side. I had to remove a little side panel. Let's see if I've got one on the other side. Yeah. So this, I don't know if this is like a spacer for to keep the body off of the side or what it is, but I had to take it off on the other side. And this ESC is just so big that I had to cut that groove in it. That way I could scoot it all the way underneath this stabilizer part of the chassis. And then I drilled a couple holes underneath, like so. And I was using metal zip ties, but I had to take it apart again, so I decided just to use regular zip ties. And we have flipped this thing. We have done all sorts of stuff. It's crashed pretty hard, all of it. And this actually has been holding up just fine. No problems there. This sits where the battery typically goes. So now I have to sit the battery up here, and I just got some longer battery straps. You can get them on Amazon. This is I've still got a little leaf in there. This is the motor itself, and you kind of have to play with these a little bit for the wiring because they're not marked to know which one goes to which. I just matched the middle one up, and then hooked the other two up until forward was forward, reverse was reverse. You might have to flip them. Took the factory little power button out that goes right here, and just used double-sided tape to put the other one in. And then the little Fly Sky FSA3 receiver, also double-sided tape, stuck way down in there. And the best way for the channel setup, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but these things come with a 3-wire servo, which works great for swapping the receiver. Let's see here. We put the steering servo on channel 3. Yeah, let me zoom in. Steering servo is on channel 3, and the throttle control to the ESC is on channel 2. And again, you can watch YouTube stuff for how to program it, program the ESC and all that, and for binding the receiver to the transmitter, but not too hard. So this thing, I mean, it doesn't have oil-filled shocks right now, so I've just got these extended as far as they'll go for the spring tension. But with the 550 motor, the factory one does 17 miles an hour, like 17.1 or something like that. And then with this combination, it will do on a 2S battery, the same 2S battery, it did 31 miles an hour. It's not quite uncontrollable because it's a long wind-up for this gear, or for this motor to hit the full RPM with a 2S battery. I imagine with a 3S it'd just be a wild animal. So my 9-year-old can actually control it. It doesn't take off that much different than it did with the 550 motor. It just keeps going and going and going. So it's a lot of fun. It is now the fastest little Haiboxing / Bezgar, they're all about the same, RC car that we have. Pretty happy with it. And like I said, I'm running a 15-tooth pinion gear, and as long as you get the right gear ratio, it'll work fine. I did make the mistake of not learning about the pinion gears and the little ratios of teeth to diameter, whatever that's called. It's totally, the word's totally gone for me. And I accidentally got, or without knowing it, I bought some of these 48s. This is the Mod 1. It's like for Traxxas and things like that. 16 to 19 tooth gear set. And it's just not, I'll show you because I've got them here. I haven't returned them yet. Anyway, really nice little gears, but they're just different from the other ones. They will not mesh correctly. You cannot make it work. So like, look at the difference here. Let me zoom in a little more. So the teeth are a lot smaller on the ones for like the Traxxas versus the others, like for Redcat Racing and these. Anyway, that's what it is. If you guys have any questions, just post them in the YouTube comments section and I'll try to answer them. I'm pretty good about it. One thing, you do have to take the little interior out of it. As cool as that little thing is, it just won't work with the battery and ESC relocated that way. Also, the little LED bar here and the lights that fit in the front bumper don't have a place to hook up anymore. I didn't take the ESC apart to see if it has a light output, but I didn't bother with it. Not really needed. But that's it. It's a lot of fun. It's a little ripper now. Look forward to putting the better shocks on it and go from there. But yeah, that's about it. Like I said, asking if you have any questions. James, what do you think? Is it faster now?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it the fastest one we've got?
Yeah.
Is this your favorite?
Yeah.
Was it always your favorite?
Yeah.
Do you say anything else besides yeah?
I don't know unless you start asking me some other questions.
Did you help me do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Bye, Goober. All right. Bye.
Bye.
One other quick thing while I'm here. These little Haiboxing cars, same with the Bezgar HM101. It's the same exact car underneath. They have a full metal drivetrain, which is fantastic. However, I did discover that whatever lubricant they use in that is awful from the factory. This has a 3 differential system. It has a center differential, and it has a front and rear differential. And the stuff they use in there for lubricant is almost like glue. And because of that, it puts most of the power toward the front from the factory. Eventually, it's really sticky stuff. What I had to do on the other one, that I haven't done it on this one yet, I had to take all of the covers off. So it's really kind of simple. You take the shocks off, you take the little suspension arms off, so that this half of the plastic cover, you know, this center support, everything that covers the gears and the differentials will come off. The back section will come off, and you're able to take everything out. Simple screwdriver, you can disassemble it and re-grease it. It's not too bad, and then it works a lot better then, and it can be fairly balanced. Getting rid of some of that gluey stuff was much better idea. Anyway, that's it. I'll go get the differential real quick, and I'll be right back, and I'll show you what it looks like for the center diff. Okay, I got it. This is what you need if you need a replacement drive line, just for the center diff and the center axle or drive shaft. And this is what it looks like. I got one just in case this new motor shredded the factory one and I wanted something else. So this is what the, well, here we go. This is what the center differential looks like. If you undo those 4 bolts there, these little roller bearings just slip right off. They just slide right off. They're just barely sitting there. Anyway, take out those 4 screws and the gear will slip off. And then inside there will be 4 more little gears. It's not really that complicated. There's only one way they can go in. Take those out. Actually, there's 5 gears, but you take 4 of them out, and then you take out this little worm gear, and the second part of this will slide out. And there's really one way it goes together, one way it comes apart. It is not too bad at all. And you just take it apart, clean out that old nasty grease, glue stuff, whatever is in there from the factory, and use some sort of like agricultural or marine grease in there would be fine. Some people are putting heavier duty things in there, like stiffer things in there, to make it lock up a little bit better. But the way it is now, it will independently, see, I'm holding the front drive shaft still, and the rear one's able to spin on its own. The way these come from the factory, it's like a front bias. So it sits in here just like this, and it tends to put most of the power toward the front wheels with the grease stuff that's in there and the way these are greased from the factory. The one that we redid seems to be a little bit better, and it's not all front bias, but definitely, although this is nice, it would be good to have a heavy grease in there so that it's more of a limited slip kind of deal, or posi instead of just free spinning, whichever one, because it's going to put the most power to whatever wheel has the least traction, which is usually the front. That's why you see complaints of people saying it only drives the front wheels. Well, not really, but if they all have good traction, they'll all go. If the back ones have good tractions, the front ones are going to spin, and vice versa. Anyway, that's how that works. Not too hard to take apart, redo, and have some fun with. Anyway, that's it. Adios.